Hi friends, I am Dr. Gautam Tripathi. I am a neurologist at Dr. L.H. Hiranandani Hospital in Mumbai. Today I am going to speak to you about epilepsy. So, a seizure is a abnormal, uncontrolled electrical activity of the brain leading to abnormal movements of the body and loss of consciousness. It also leads sometimes to sensory symptoms in the form of electrical sensations in the body. And epilepsy is an unprovoked recurrent seizure. So, what are the causes of epilepsy? So, epilepsy can happen at any age. The patients who are newly born can have epilepsy because of birth trauma. It can also happen because of glucose deficiency in newborns or in small children. Sometimes it happens during a febrile episode, we call it febrile seizure. It can also happen over years due to different reasons like a brain tumor, like a granuloma in the brain. It can happen because of infections in the brain like tuberculosis. And very interestingly, it can also happen because, and sometimes no cause is found, which is called a idiopathic epilepsy. In old people, it can happen because of brain stroke. So it can happen at any age, and no age is immune to epilepsy, though it is more commonly seen in children. So before we go ahead, we'll like to tell you about what types of epilepsy are there. So in grossly, we divide epilepsy into two types. One is a focal epilepsy. What is a focal epilepsy? Focal epilepsy is where one part of the limb or part of the body is involved, and there are jerking movements or sensory symptoms in one part of the body. So this is called a focal epilepsy. And then we can have a generalized epilepsy where the whole body as a whole is involved, and you have tonic-clonic seizures, contraction of the limbs, frothing. There is a loss of urine control. Then there are some unusual types of epilepsy known as myoclonic jerks, where you have sudden jerks in the body which are brief. There are absence seizures which are seen in children where there is brief lapse of consciousness. So once we find out that the patient has epilepsy, we need to take a detailed diagnosis, because sometimes you miss diagnosing the real thing, whether it is epilepsy or not. So epilepsy can have certain mimics, like some patients who suddenly faint because of syncope can also be brought to the hospital thinking that it could be epilepsy. Sometimes there could be minor or major stroke-like attacks which can come up like epilepsy. Sometimes there are some conditions known as pseudo seizures which are more psychological in nature because of stress. They can mimic as epilepsy. So before reaching to a conclusion of epilepsy, we have to take a detailed history from the family members. We have to understand what had happened during the episode, whether the patient had lost, just had fainted or had a complete seizure-like episode, whether there was frothing, whether there is tongue bite, whether there is urinary incontinence. All these things have to be taken care of. Once we reach, and the history is very important, somebody who has seen the episode will be able to tell us exactly what had happened. Once we understand that the patient had epilepsy, then we have to investigate it further. So what are the investigations? So a very important mode of investigation is to do a neuroimaging by a CT scan or a MRI brain. So definitely MRI brain is better, and we can find out whether there are some abnormal structural issue in the brain, or there is a tumor, there is a granuloma like a tuberculoma, or it is a idiopathic epilepsy we are dealing with where there is no cause or there is nothing in the brain and the brain structure is absolutely normal, still the patient continues to have epilepsy. And another important investigation is a test called electroencephalogram, where you need to check the electrical activity of the brain. But we have to understand, we should know that if the electroencephalogram or EEG is normal, that doesn't rule out epilepsy. So in an epilepsy patient, the electroencephalogram can be completely normal. as is the MRI. So it eventually comes down to our history, whether the patient had an episode which is consistent with the true nature of epileptic attack. Once we find out that the patient had epilepsy and all the investigations are done, so these are two investigations we discussed, MRI brain EEG, then there are certain blood investigations. Then the patient suppose has tuberculosis, we have to do a CT chest X-ray, we have to do, if the patient has infection in the brain, we have to do a lumbar puncture. So there are a lot of other investigations, but these two are important investigations. Then we decide whether the patient needs treatment. Sometimes the patient would require treatment if the patient continues to have recurrent seizures or the epilepsy is prolonged. Sometimes the patient is brought to the emergency because of a prolonged seizure known as status epilepticus. So if the patient is brought to the emergency, you need to admit the patient, give treatment, urgent treatment like midazolam and lorazepam are given, then phenytoin or levetiracetam bolus is given to control the seizures. Sometimes more than one drug is needed. Now, suppose the patient comes to us on the OPD basis, we have to decide whether it is a focal epilepsy or a generalized epilepsy. If the patient has focal epilepsy, then drugs like carbazepine, oxcarbazepine, then levetiracetam, lacosamide, these are certain drugs which are used. If the patient has generalized epilepsy, drugs like phenytoin, sodium valproate are common drugs. Levetiracetam is also used. Then drugs like topiramate, lamotrigine is used in some circumstances. Always we have to see what age we are treating, what gender we are treating, because females can have side effects with certain group of drugs, so we have to be careful about those drugs. And then a neurologist would be able to tell you how long the patient has to be on medication, what side effects can you expect from the medicines, whether the medicines will make somebody too drowsy, whether the drugs can lead to skin rashes. So all these things has to be discussed with your doctor. If the patient is not controlled with one anti-epileptic drug, then another anti-epileptic drug is given. If the patient is not being able to be controlled with two or more drugs, then we have to understand that it could be a refractory epilepsy. We can also think of, or we should evaluate the options for surgical treatment for epilepsy. So these are the basic things to understand about epilepsy. Apart from that, what first aid can somebody give when the patient has epileptic attack? So we should always understand that the family members or the close relatives of epileptic patients should not panic during an attack. They should let the patient lie down at a comfortable place during the attack. Never try to put a spoon or give water to the patient during an attack, which can be risky. Make the patient lie down. We have certain drugs in the spray form which can be given during an attack if the attack continues for a long period of time. If the attack is small, the epilepsy is self-limiting, then you can consult a neurologist after the attack. So apart from this, we also have to maintain a healthy lifestyle for all epilepsy patients. Patients with epilepsy need to sleep well at night. They should avoid driving. They should also avoid going to water alone or swimming. Swimming is not recommended in epileptic patients, particularly if the patient is on ongoing drugs. So these are certain things about epilepsy. I hope you have taken a message regarding epilepsy. Thank you so much.